field can stop Bill Elliott's course for Thunderbird. He's already won 4 out of 5 Super Speedway events already this season, on his way to $1 million year, something that's never been done in stock car racing. We'll be back with the starting lineup of the Budweiser 500 right after this.
Welcome back to Dover, Delaware. Mike Hogwood along with Dick Brooks. And right now, let's meet the starting field for today's Budweiser 500. On the pole, his first pole of the year, car 44, Terry Labonte from Corpus Christi, Texas, in the Piedmont Airlines Chevrolet. Also on the front row, Harry Gant out of Taylorsville, North Carolina, in the Kmart Skull Bandit Chevrolet. On row number 2 today will be part of the Alabama gang, Neil Bonnet out of Hueytown in the Budweiser Chevrolet. Neil, with a good year so far, has to be one of the dark horses today. Also on that second row, Bill Elliott. Boy, has he dominated the super speedways this year. Out of Dawsonville, Georgia, in the Coors Ford Thunderbird, driving car number 9. Starting 5th today will be Ricky Rudd in car 15 out of Chesapeake, Virginia. He's always run well here at Dover. He'll be driving the Motorcraft Ford. Starting 6th will be Jeff Bodine in car number 5 out of Chemung, New York. A lot of fans here in Dover for Jeff Bodine. He's driving the Levi Garrett Chevrolet. Starting 7th, the defending champion of this race, Richard Petty, the king, from Randleman, North Carolina, the STP Pontiac, driving car 43. And starting 8th on the grid today will be Tim Richmond in car number 27 out of Ashland, Ohio, driving the old Milwaukee Pontiac. Tim hoping to get his season turned around with this race here at Dover. And now let's meet the rest of the field. Dale Earnhardt starts 9th, Rusty Wallace 10th, Bobby Allison 11th. Kyle Petty will start 12th. He's had a good season so far. Dick Brooks really starting to come on.
Well, Kyle, you know, had some problems with family problems last year and what have you, and he moved into Woods Brothers team, and they really have put it together. Last week they had a great day at Talladega, and they're looking for great times now.
Darrell Waltrip will start 16th on the field, and bringing up the rear today will be Bobby Hillen Jr. and Phil Parsons, who crashed during qualifying and have provisional starts in this race. We'll be back, and Harold Kinder will drop the green flag from Dover in just a moment. Welcome back to Dover. The field is just about set to go to green as they come around turn 3. The pace guard heads down pit road, and they'll get the green flag from Harold Kinder. Terry Labonte and Harry Gant are on the front row as they cross the start-finish line. It is Terry Labonte who comes out into the lead as they head into turn 1. It's pretty tough to take the corners here at Dover. It is a tough racetrack to drive, Dick Brooks, and I imagine early in this race, as we watch them fight for position, they'll just kind of fill each other out on the racetrack.
Well, they certainly do. They, you know, Terry got a pretty good jump. He jumped out, and Neil Bonnet kind of fell in behind him. And the rest of them's got to find a spot. It's not good to run a groove a second lane up. So everybody's got to find a spot at the bottom and try to stay there.
One car we'll keep an eye out on is Bill Elliott, car number 9. He started 4th today. There you see Labonte and Neil Bonnet right on his tail, followed by Harry Gant. Bonnet has certainly shown some muscle this year. He's won 2 races already, and it's a different team for the car number 12.
It sure is. They had some problems last year, and they got to fussing and arguing a little bit with he and Darrell, and for some reason or other, he's coming out on top this year so far. So we'll see what happens, but he's giving it a try here, I'll tell you.
Terry Labonte, the defending champion of NASCAR, is about to get passed right here by Neil Bonnet, and it will be Neil Bonnet who will take the lead on the backstretch. There you see a dogfight for position. In the middle there is Bill Elliott, car number 9. Car 15 is Ricky Rudd, and heading that pack is Harry Gant, but Rudd is showing some muscle down low on the racetrack. This is Neil Bonnet who will be officially declared the leader as he crosses the start-finish line. Terry Labonte is in 2nd place, and you can always count on that number 44 car to be somewhere among the leaders. It's why he won the championship a year ago.
Well, he is, but I'll tell you something that I've messed up on when we were standing on the roof a while ago, and I said that Elliott's not going to run away with this. He is holding his own on the outside groove, and there's nobody else can do that, so I'm in trouble already.
Well, look at that line of cars as they line up to come around the racetrack, and you were right, Bill Elliott taking the high groove, trying to gain position, and he is all alone high on the racetrack. I wouldn't think that would be a good idea for car number 9.
Well, it's not good, but he hasn't been able to pull it down in the spot yet. And I'll tell you, Neil is setting a good pace. He's not really blistering his tires like some of the other cars are. He's getting a little smoke off of them, but here at Dover with the sealer and stuff they've got on the tracks, you can see the smoke roll off the tires, and his is not quite as bad as Harry Gant's.
Neil Bonnet is the only driver this year to win a super speedway race other than Elliott. There in the pits is Phil Parsons. As we mentioned earlier, he crashed during qualifying, and the car really wasn't right to start the race, and he is for some reason in the pits now with early trouble.
Well, he tore it up on both ends. He backed it into the wall, and then the front hit the wall. And they probably shouldn't have started, but with the point race the way it is, they almost have to.
Well, there you see the leader, the Budweiser Chevrolet of Neil Bonnet. As we said, the only car to win a super speedway race this year other than Bill Elliott. So you certainly would have to count Neil Bonnet in. Look, moving up on the inside, car number 5, the yellow and white car of Jeff Bodine, is showing some strength early in this race. And what a team Jeff Bodine and Harry Hyde have formed this year.
Well, they have done that. They come together at the beginning of last year. Brand new team, and it really fell in strong. And they've got a good, strong team this year. But I'll tell you, you got to look at Bill again. He's right back up on the top of them.
Well, Bill Elliott right on the bumper of Jeff Bodine. Your leader at the moment is Neil Bonnet, but Bodine is really coming up on Bonnet, and Bodine looks like he might like to take the lead away from him. We'll see as Bodine gets to the inside of the racetrack, coming into turn 2, and it is going to be Jeff Bodine who is going to go to the inside of Neil Bonnet. They're going to race door handle to door handle down this backstretch. Bill Elliott is in third, but Jeff Bodine is going to put his nose in front of Neil Bonnet, and Jeff Bodine, to the delight of the fans here in Dover, has put his car into first place, and he is certainly looking strong.
Well, you can see how they kind of pushed him up out of the groove, and if you remember a while ago, the number 9 car was running up there all by itself.
Well, we got a glimpse there of Phil Parsons still in the pits with the hood up. And now with a 3-car length lead, Jeff Bodine out of Chemung, New York. What a year they had together last year, the first year with this team. Harry Hyde and Jeff Bodine. It's been a good teacher-student relationship, as well as driver and crew chief. And indeed, that chemistry is very important to the success of a race team.
Well, it is, and they're at this point they're getting along pretty good. And, you know, Harry's been around this thing for, I said the other day, he had 120 years experience. So,
let's go down now to the pits, and we'll hear from Harry Hyde, who is standing by with Mark Garrow right now.
Harry, is everything going the way you planned it right now?
Yes, it's going like we planned it. We planned on leading most of this race. The car's running real good. We didn't think anybody could outrun them, so if it holds together, we'll be sitting there all day.
Well, Dick Brooks, when your crew chief says we planned on leading the whole day, you've got to feel pretty confident as a driver when you know he's got that kind of confidence in the race car.
Well, do you think he knew that was going to happen like that? You think he knew Harry said that the car's running really good today? And was planning on leading all this race? But Jeff's doing his job too. He's staying out in front. He's staying on he's got a nice low groove, and that's where it's at this track, and he's doing great.
Really falling back is number 33, Harry Gant. Let's go down to his pits.
These Grand National stock cars can go about 100 laps under green before they have to come into the pits. But Travis, you have to be hoping for a caution flag. Now, Harry's car doesn't appear to be handling as well as it could.
Well, we're a little off to start. We never could get the car quite right for us yesterday. If we can continue running at this pace, maybe we can make an adjustment on the pit stop and not get lapped.
Dick Travis Carter said they never did get the car quite right and set up. That's one thing the drivers were complaining about today. Because of the rains on Friday, they really have not had a lot of practice time on this track. And I think some of it's showing here in the early goings of the race.
Well, you know, all the tracks now are trying to put a preliminary race in, a race on Saturday, and they did that yesterday, and they had a very good sportsman race and what have you, but it really took away the time for the Winston Cup cars and the national cars, and a lot of the guys really didn't get right.
Car number 1 is Jeff Bodine. Second on the racetrack right now is Bill Elliott in the Coors Ford Thunderbird, and he's certainly a car to watch today. Moving back through the field, Neil Bonnet is still running strong. That's Dale Earnhardt in car number 3, and Ricky Rudd in car 15, who are starting to move up. But there's still a little bit of distance between them and Bodine and Bill Elliott. Do you think Elliott's kind of biding his time right now, feeling things out?
Well, I don't think so. I think he's doing the best he can. Well, I tell you, you know, not only doing the best he can right now, his ego's getting a little bit higher than it was when he first came out of Daltonville, Georgia, too, you know. And he's going to try to do the best he can here.
We'll see what he does when we come back with more racing from Dover, Delaware.
We're in the market for a new car.
In Dover, Delaware, and Jeff Bodine is still your leader. This is a battle for third and fourth. Right now, Ricky Rudd is holding down the third spot in car number 15. Running fourth on the field is Dale Earnhardt. They are trying to catch Bodine and Elliott. Does the drafting effect have any effect here, Dick? Does it help to run together?
Not anything like at Dover. In fact, running together here could slow the cars down just a little bit because the guy in the front's got to keep watching the guy in the back all the time.
And you have just seen Dale Earnhardt take third place away from car number 15, Ricky Rudd. Right now running fifth on the field is car 22, Bobby Allison. Ron Bouchard is sixth. Kyle Petty is seventh, and Harry Gant is running eighth. Right now, let's go down to Mark Garrow, who is standing by in Bill Elliott's pit.
We're in the pits for the car that's currently running second, Bill Elliott. Ernie Elliott, his brother, is the crew chief. You look unconcerned right now, Ernie. Has Bill settled into a race pace?
Yeah, it's just real early in the race right now. As long as the car's running pretty good, there's no need getting concerned about anything. As long as we just stay out of trouble, we don't have any problems with the car. We're just trying to feel out, what the chassis is like right now. So, we're 100 laps into the race. We got a long time to go yet.
Time to go here at Dover. We run 500 miles, 500 laps. This is back in the pack. Neil Bonnet, Ron Bouchard, Kyle Petty, and Harry Gant. A word about Ron Bouchard. What a disappointing day he had yesterday in the Sportsman race, and he's really counting on a good run here today.
Well, he sure is. He set on the pole the next lap for the next time of qualifying. He blew an engine and crashed, tore the car up, and he had to take it home. So they really are looking for something here today.
Jeff Bodine just gets by lap traffic. He's being chased by Bill Elliott and the rest of the field. Bodine certainly the class of the pack right now, as you see going past J.D. McDuffie, who's on the low side of the racetrack. J.D. has always had some good experiences here at Dover. Matter of fact, he led the second round of qualifying.
Well, and he's got a whole new thing too. He's trying on Ford, and he's never done anything like that before. So we'll have to see how it works out. There's a lot of these guys. Elliott's got a lot of guys looking at Fords now. They weren't doing that in the past, and JD's just one of them.
There is Dale Earnhardt, the third place car right now in car number 3, the Richard Childress prepared car. And he is trying to chase down Bodine and Elliott. Elliott just about 4 or 5 car lengths behind Jeff Bodine. Dale Earnhardt in third place, trying to move up now, and he's run strong today.
Well, it seems like that Childers and Earnhardt does well on a track like this, the high banks. They just almost dominated Bristol a while back, and they're running good here today.
There you saw the separation between Jeff Bodine and Bill Elliott as they come up and lap Bobby Hillin Jr., who started at the back of the pack today after crashing in qualifying. And Bill Elliott seems content for the moment just to hang a couple car lengths behind and let Jeff Bodine lead the way.
A while ago I seen those cameramen down in the infield shooting up at the cars. I've been in them cars looking at them cameramen shooting down there before. It's sure a different angle down there.
I believe it. It's a totally different view when you're inside a race car, and you certainly like to have Jeff Bodine's view right now as he leads the pack. And what a crowd, as you just got a glimpse of it. 48,000 people, the estimated attendance today here in Dover. It's an all-time record for this race, and this sport is growing by leaps and bounds from one end of this country to the other.
No question about it, and it's doing right here in Dover, Delaware, too. I can remember when they didn't have 5,000 people here. They had a rain out one time, and there wasn't enough people here to have a good fight. Then they opened it up for Monday, and everybody showed up, and from then on, they've just been knocking the gates down. So they've done a good job of it.
We heard Ernie Elliott talking about, well, it's early in the race. We're going to lay back just a little bit. Well, how much do you have to pace yourself in this race? I know that this takes a real physical toll on a driver going 500 miles here at Dover.
Well, it's a long day, and it's a guy wants to be careful. If you noticed, they just passed Dave Marcus, and they give him a lot of room. They made sure that it was good and comfortable, and they're not going to take any chances right at this point. But I don't know. Elliott and them, they just dominated everybody on these tracks this year. He's not going to give up to anything, but at this stage of the game, he's not going to take too many chances either.
Quite a difference between the third place car and the second place car of Bill Elliott. Not as much ground between Elliott and Bodine as you see, just about 3-4 car lengths there. Bodine still leading the way as we're just kind of feeling our way out here at Dover, Delaware. No mishaps, no serious accidents so far in the race. It's been a good, clean race, and this is not a racetrack where it's easy to go good and clean. As you see some tire wear on that car, and I guess tires wear pretty hard here at Dover.
Well, they had some tire problems yesterday in the sportsman race, and they're thinking maybe if the chassis are not exactly right that they may have some today too. Goodyear does a great job of building these tires. Man, I'll tell you, those are the kind of things right there that you got to really be careful of.
Jimmy Means got sideways just a little bit, and Smut Means had some problems with his car, but hung on to it. He's a veteran. He hasn't ever won on this circuit, but he knows how to keep it under control.
Well, those are the kind of things that could cost Elliott an awful lot. You know, he's very, very cautious, and that just goes to show right there. He was on top of the thing. He backed out of it in time when Jimmy came up in front of him, and he saved himself an accident. And he didn't really lose that much time. He lost about a second on the racetrack.
Interesting to note that Darrell Waltrip has not run well at all, and he has really fallen back. As a matter of fact, he is in danger right now of being lapped by Jeff Bodine. You just caught a glimpse of the number 11 car. If Bodine passes him, Waltrip will go one lap down, and that would be a surprise here early.
I bet he's got tears in his eyes. You know, he don't like that.
Well, you know Darrell Waltrip's one heck of a competitor. Right now, Mark Garrow is making his way to Darrell Waltrip's pits, where he will try to get a word with Jeff Hammond, as right now, Jeff Bodine has just put car number 11 one lap down to the field. Now let's go down to car number 11's pits. Here's Mark Garrow, who's standing by with the crew chief with Darrell Waltrip. Here's Jeff Hammond.
One of the big surprises early in the Budweiser 500 is the fact that Darrell Waltrip has been lapped. We're talking with crew chief Jeff Hammond. Jeff, what's wrong with Darrell's car?
Right now, it's kind of hard to say. I believe we got some tires in there. Not really saying a whole lot right now. Just got to kind of tough it out, see if we can get the problem solved and get back in the race.
Terry Labonte started on the pole in this race and since dropped back, and now has started making his way towards the front again. Dale Edmond there with
we
the
got a
start
problem
clutch.
over in turn 3. I can't really see who it is.
Turn 3, and it looks like car 6, Eddie Bishwell. Eddie Bishwell spun in turn 3. Pit stops are the order of the day here in Dover, Delaware. A chance for fresh tires and a full tank of gasoline. And we'll be back with more racing from Dover in just a moment. The debris from Eddie Bishwell's spin has been cleaned up by the NASCAR safety crews, and we're ready to go racing again. It is Neil Bonnet who will lead the field across the start-finish line. Bonnet is now in first place, followed by Jeff Bodine, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt, and Ron Bouchard. We have just gotten word from NASCAR Scoring that Buddy Baker was held up during that caution. He was black flagged and was held up a lap and is now a lap down. And if I know Buddy Baker, he is really hot.
Well, you know, buddy, I wouldn't want him really mad at me. He's liable to be bending the steering wheel in there, you know. But they'll get it worked out one way or another. He was either right or wrong, and somebody's going to tell him which way he's got to go, and they'll settle it after the race, I guess.
One thing about NASCAR is they really make you adhere to the rules no matter who you are or what your name is. You have to abide by what NASCAR sets down.
Well, that's true, and most of it's for safety. They don't generally pickle anybody for anything other than something that's safe. And if you run through a stop sign at the end of pit row or something, you need to be brought in. You're getting ready for a lead change.
All right, it is Jeff Bodine to the inside to take the lead away from Neil Bonnet. And Bodine, who's showing the strength that he has since the beginning of this race, has now taken the lead again. You see Bill Elliott, car number 9, trying to take second place away from Neil Bonnet. Back and forth is Dale Earnhardt in car number 3. Mark Garrow has now made his way into the Buddy Baker pit. He is standing by now with the crew chief on car number 88, Robert Harrington. Let's go down to Mark Garrow now and find out what that black flag was all about.
85 was Buddy Baker's crew chief, Booby Harrington. Buddy was assessed a penalty by NASCAR after that last caution period. What happened?
Well, I don't understand their scoring. We came in when everybody else did, made a pit stop, went back out, then we came back down pit road, cleaned the windshield, and went right back out. And they said we run by the stop sign. I don't understand why. We didn't pass anybody, didn't do anything. They took a lap away from us. I don't understand it. They're going to have to show it to me after the race.
Well, I'm sure they will. Somebody will bring him a sheet of paper over there and say, hey, I'm showing you what happened, and this is the way it's going to be. Boy, I'll tell you, I just, I don't know. I just get cold chills when I see people race like this. I've been doing that for a long, long time, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that much close racing like that. But it's this is some fine kind of racing, huh?
Takes a lot of skill at that. Jeff Bodine riding in the lead in this race. Bill Elliott is number 2, and Dale Earnhardt is in 3rd place. Neil Bonnet has fallen back a ways. He led after the last caution. But obviously right now, Bodine and Elliott and Earnhardt, the class of the field here.
Bonnet, you remember I mentioned real early in the race that he just wasn't smoking his tires like the rest of them were. Well, he is now. He's just a little bit higher on the racetrack, and the tires are smoking. So they didn't get a good combination to change the tires this time. But Earnhardt picked up some. So, you know, it goes back and forth just a little bit. And Elliott, he just keeps sticking his nose out there taking a peek, you know. He's not cooling his car. He's trying to pass. There is Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd. Kyle has moved up to 6th place. Ricky Rudd right now is in 7th. Kyle having a good run here today. Bobby Allison, you know, showing his stuff. He gets washed up just a little bit. Old car pushing just a little bit on him, I guess. And Harry's trying to overhaul him, and he looks like he's been swatting flies all day. That was the battle for 8th place there. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack. Dale Earnhardt, Neil Bonnet, and Ron Bouchard, the number 47 car, who continues to hang in there and really hopes for a good showing here today. It's been a tough year for Ron Bouchard in the Valvoline car. Well, they started out, you know, the first time that Dick Beebe's got a really good national sponsor, and they started out with such high hopes, and for some reason or other, they just can't really put it all together to last all day. But he's hooked in the bottom now. I'll tell you, he's if it sticks together all day, he's going to be tough. That's the battle for 3rd place, and right now it's being won by Dale Earnhardt. Side by side, Bonnet and Bouchard. Yeah, they're getting ready to swap a fender here. Earnhardt's watching all that in his mirror, saying, "Go ahead, boys, play with each other. I'm going to go on down the racetrack." And Earnhardt indeed does go down the racetrack as they come down the front straightaway and head into turn 1 now. That race right there is for 4th place, but you would think it was for 1st on the last lap between Bonnet and Bouchard, and Ron just apparently doesn't have enough muscle on the straightaway to overtake Neil Bonnet. Can't really get up off the corner when you pinch down like that. If you'll notice, Neil push him right to the bottom right here. Now see how he pulls him down on the racetrack and then turns him kind of loose, and it just, the car just doesn't turn up off the corner like that really good. Well, now Bouchard takes 4th place away from Neil Bonnet. Bonnet is now 5th on the field, and there is your leader, Jeff Bodine, in car number 5. They're having a good day, I'll tell you. I'm glad to see it. Rick Hendrick down in Charlotte owns that team, put it together last year from scratch, and man, they've really done something with it. Bodine in the Levi Garrett Chevrolet today, and he is having one heck of a ride. Some other drivers having a pretty good ride too, and you're taking a look at them. One of them is Kyle Petty, and you can't say enough about that youngster. Who would have ever thought the Pettys and the Wood brothers would get together and form a team? They had a marriage that was built in heaven or wherever, and it happened at Charlotte Motor Speedway a year or so ago, and it's been a good thing for both of them. Kyle is just, you know, he's got that Colgate smile, man. It's just like his daddy used to be, and he's tickled to death. Well, you see Kyle really moving up on the field. Right now, let's go down to the Petty pits. Here's Leonard Wood with Mark Garrow.
We're talking with Leonard Wood. Kyle seems to be doing a real great job out there right now.
Yeah, he's doing real good with it. That's the way to see what happens. Kind of pacing himself right now, and long ways to go yet.
I'll tell you, you know, Leonard is a funny sort of fella. He just kind of takes everything in stride, but I think inside his old heart's pumping pretty hard too. He'd like to see this boy do good.
He doesn't even mind working with the Petty, does he?
No, in fact, I think he's enjoying it. They're having a good time.
There you see Terry Labonte, who has gone a lap down. Labonte not running real strong at the moment. Jeff Bodine is still your leader. Richard Petty, Kyle's old man, they say, is having a pretty good run today.
Yeah, and there's Buddy Baker coming up. Here's Jeff Bodine coming in the pit.
This would be a scheduled pit stop. A scheduled pit stop for fuel and tires for Jeff Bodine. About all the drivers should be making pit stops here in the next few minutes. Now your new leader will be Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott has taken the lead as Bodine pulls in a scheduled stop, and apparently had a little bit of trouble getting that car fired on pit road.
I seen when he first pulled in there, they were shooting fuel in the intake, like maybe he had ran out of gas, and then it looked like it stalled on him. So I don't know for sure if that was scheduled or not.
Well, Bodine is under fire now, winding through the gearbox as he gets set to try to chase down Bill Elliott. He is a lap down now, and Bill Elliott is the leader on the racetrack. The first time he has led
got another problem going into the first turn. It looks like
Phil Parsons. It is Phil Parsons in car number 17. What a break for Bill Elliott and the rest of the leaders, and what heartbreak now for Jeff Bodine, as he will lose a lap, and everybody else now gets the pit under the caution flag as Phil Parsons has spun and brought the caution out here at Dover, Delaware. Pit stops all around, everybody into the pits, and we'll be back to Dover in just a moment. Mike Hogwood along with Dick Brooks welcoming you back to Dover, Delaware. There's your top five: Bill Elliott, Kyle Petty, Harry Gant, Ricky Rudd, and Dale Earnhardt. You see car number 5. He is at the tail end of the lead lap as we go to green. And because of that caution flag, everybody else got fuel and tires under the yellow, and he had to stop under green, and it was tough for Jeff.
Well, he did that, but he's not really a lap down, but he just got to beat this that little bit. But one thing he did, he came in 2 laps before the caution, and he put on right side tires. He had the option to come back and put left side tires on, and everybody else could only change 2. The new rule that NASCAR has is you're penalized a lap if you change more than 2 tires under the caution. So he's got 4 fresh tires. Elliott's only got 2 fresh tires, but believe me, if Elliott can do anything to put him behind him now, he'll try to do it. It's not like it was a while ago when they were just racing for the lead. If Elliott can put him back and hold him there where Jeff can't make his lap back up, like right now he's a lap down, if he can hold him there, you don't have to race with him at the end of the race. So believe me, he's going to try to do it.
And Jeff Bodine is going to fight just as hard to stay on that lead lap. And right now he is a lap down as Bill Elliott goes by him. A call now to Kyle Petty, who you see there in the back of that pack in car number 7. Kyle Petty is listed in 2nd place. And what a move to the front Kyle Petty has made, and for the 2nd week in a row, a strong showing for car number 7, and I couldn't be happier for the guy.
Oh, no, that's great. I tell you, me and him live on the same lake. You know, every once in a while he comes floating by in his boat and he waves, you know, and I'll go over here once in a while and he won't wave when I come by my boat. But anyway, he's doing a great job. I'm glad to see it.
Well, Kyle Petty, you see there, racing with Terry Labonte, who is a lap down. And there's the leader now, Bill Elliott, who is trying to put distance on the rest of the field. What a season they have had for the team from Dawsonville, Georgia. They have had all kinds of media invade their shops, and Bill Elliott still won't let anybody in the front door to find out the secret of that race team.
Yeah, he's making a fool out of me when I was standing on the roof a while ago saying he wasn't going to do this. But I'll tell you, there's some awful good racing back in there. Harry Gant and Terry Labonte's got him kind of held back there just a little bit. Kyle's bumping on the bumper, and they're pushing on the 11 car Waldrop. And, you know, Rudd comes sneaking in. So they got some good racing going.
That is for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Kyle Petty, Harry Gant, and Ricky Rudd. Number 2, number 3, and number 4 on the racetrack at the moment. We haven't said much about Ricky Rudd, but he's a guy that always runs well here at Dover. He told me earlier in the week, I always run well the first half and then fall back, but I want to run well all day today.
Well, it's a good track for Fords. I've got 2 seconds here, I think, and a couple thirds in Fords. And when I was driving for Junie Donlevy, and I made him what he was, you know. Right here at Dover, Delaware.
I heard that. Junie Donlevy's only win came here at Dover, but it wasn't with Dick Brooks behind the wheel. It was with Jody Ridley at the controls.
We both got so old, one of us had to quit. We got a fine race going on here today. And Kyle kind of slipped by him there just a little bit. He's kind of showing his stuff in his Ford, too.
There you see Dale Earnhardt at the back of that pack in car number 3. He is currently listed in 5th place. So 1 through 5, it's a pretty tight bunch. But right now, Bill Elliott starting to put some distance on the field. And the Coors Ford Thunderbird looks like it's hooked up a little bit right now.
Yeah, he really is. He's hooked tight. He's staying in the bottom groove. You know, a few years back, you used to be able to run 2 grooves on this racetrack. You could run a little bit higher, but they put some sealant on the thing, and they keep putting it on each year to kind of take care of the weather cracks and stuff, and it's pretty well taken away the high groove. Everybody now's got to run at the bottom.
Dale Earnhardt now trying to take 4th place away from Ricky Rudd. He is right on his bumper. There you see the distance between Earnhardt and Rudd, and the leader, Bill Elliott.
Elliott's getting to the point where anybody don't even. There was, you know, such a great day for Childers and Dale Earnhardt, and they sure got some serious problems now.
You telling me that was more than tire smoke, huh?
Oh yes, it was. It was coming out of the pipes, and they got they're going to go to the house, I expect, all the way back to wherever they live, you know, in Winston-Salem.
That generally means that the engine has blown when you see smoke from that area. Earnhardt did a good job of holding it on the racetrack. What does a driver do when your engine lets go? I know you're dumping oil and stuff all over the racetrack.
Well, I tell you, I think closing your eyes is the first thing you should do, and then you just kind of try to get a hold of it. Cale Yarborough said one time, you got to keep driving.
Well, there's Dale Earnhardt coming into the Richard Childress pit area right now. And let's take a look at it again. What happened to the car, Dick Brooks?
Well, it just looked like everything was going fine, and it just dumped out the side. I'll tell you, that's he either busted a head or a cylinder wall. That's water smoke. I mean, there's oil in that, but that's basically water smoke because it pumped out both cylinders like that. So I would imagine he busted a cylinder wall. Well, I'll tell you, you know, I was going to say. I was talking to Cale Yarborough one time when we was talking about what do you do in a case like that. He says, man, you keep driving. You don't ever stop driving. Said if it's upside down, keep driving. It may turn back over and you can save it.
Well, Earnhardt did not save it. That leaves fourth place to Ricky Rudd. Let's go down to his pits and Bud Moore.
The Motorcraft pits with veteran crew chief Bud Moore. Are you happy with the way the car's running at this point in the race?
Well, the car's running right well. Of course, the car's running a little better than we are right now, but I think we get on down toward the end, we'll be in pretty good shape.
As he says, as he spits out his tobacco, just gets one back to racing, though. I'll tell you, Bud, something.
You notice he said, though, the number 9 car running a little better than he is. The number 9 car running a little bit better than everybody on the racetrack right now.
Well, she's doing pretty good.
Well, maybe not running better than her, but Bill Elliott's having himself a pretty good day.
Yes, he is.
And now Ricky Rudd is into the pits.
Yeah, they're gonna put on right side tires, and I don't know. Is this a scheduled stop? I guess it is. I was thinking they would probably wait just a little bit longer, but you know the Fords don't get quite the mileage that some of the Chevrolets get. In fact, only about half of what Bobby Allison gets.
Well, those were two Fords on pit road, the Ford of Ricky Rudd and the Ford of Kyle Petty. And now you see Bill Elliott getting ready to put Ron Bouchard a lap down. Elliott goes by Bouchard. Bouchard will go a lap down, and that would just about kill his hopes of winning, because he has not been running that strong here today and has just been clinging desperately to that lead lap, and he just lost it.
Boy, I tell you, though, he's hanging on hard. It was a hard battle there, and Bouchard does a good job of driving here. He ran almost this whole race last fall with no power steering. When he got out of the thing, his arms was hanging beside, but he made it all day, and he still had a good finish, so he likes this racetrack.
Well, you got to feel kind of helpless when Bill Elliott blows by you like he's doing now and is showing the strength that he's showing. It's kind of disheartening, really, Dick Brooks.
Well, it is. It's, you know, you keep doing the best you can all day, and then Elliott's done to everybody what he did at Daytona, and then look what he did at Talladega, and now all of a sudden he's turned loose here. And it's going to be disheartening for everybody.
Jeff Bodine trying to make up that lead lap. Trouble on turn 2. Trouble on turn 2.
I believe that is Ron Bouchard, the person we were just talking about.
Ron Bouchard spun and hit the wall. What a tough break for him. Pit stops again all around. And Jeff Bodine appears to be staying out on the racetrack. We'll see how that affects his position in this race in a moment. But right now, we're going to take a break from Dover, Delaware. Be back with the finish in just a moment. Is the man of the hour right now as he heads him across the start-finish line. We're under green again. Dick Brooks, they've talked all week long about the sealer on this racetrack. Is it a dangerous track to drive on because of what they call the sealer?
Well, no, I don't think it's dangerous. I think, you know, all the drivers and the tire companies and the crews and stuff are accustomed to it. It's a sealant that just helps keep out the moisture, helps keep especially in the north where the tracks freeze in the summer, in the wintertime. They pop up, and this stuff helps seal the cracks so the water can't get in. But what it does is just like what happened to Bouchard. Once you break traction or actually break the footprint of the tire, it just turns like oil, and you lose all control of the thing, and you're generally back in the fence.
It is a little different, though, than in some of the other racetracks on the Grand National Circuit.
Well, there's different kind of sealers in different places, and what they need to use up here in the north is a little bit different, and it's slick and it's treacherous.
A quick word now from Bill Elliott's pits.
After the final pit stop, are all systems go for the rest of the way for the Coors Ford?
Yeah, unless we have any more cautions, everything should be fine for the rest of the race.
Well, some confidence from Ernie Elliott as he said everything should be fine. Everything is on go inside the Coors Ford Thunderbird of Bill Elliott as he heads the field. Jeff Bodine, we mentioned, made his lap back up. He is running second on the field right now. Kyle Petty is in third.
You know, I don't think there's anything more satisfying than having a good pair of shoes that fit, or a good race car that'll dominate everybody else, you know, and that's the way Ernie looks. He just looks like his everything, his pants is not too tight, the shoes fit. He's certainly got a race car that's flying.
Well, that's for sure, and Ernie's not going to mention that he has the field covered at all, and he's not going to say we have this race won, but he has to feel confident. So does his driver, Bill Elliott, right now. Any way at all, Kyle Petty or Jeff Bodine can catch him.
Well, there's not much. I'll tell you, it's Elliott could have a problem. He could have a tire problem, but he's pretty smooth, and he just he's certainly not had any all day or all year, actually.
The car that's really moving up through the field now is the number 33 Skull Bandit, driven by Harry Gant. He has just passed Kyle Petty and is now in third place on the field. Harry Gant will be a threat here to win today. Let's go down to his pits. Mark Garrow's with Travis Carter.
Harry's running a little bit quicker right now. Have you found a better combination?
Well, we made a few adjustments throughout that's improved the running. We've had some problems with the steering box recently I don't think it's hurt the speed any. I think at this point in time, Bill just flat has everybody outrunning. We don't have a chance to outrun him or catch him.
Well, those are the words of a discouraged crew chief if I ever heard them. And Harry Gant running in third place, you wouldn't expect to hear such discouraging words from your crew chief.
Well, Travis is an extremely competitive soul, and the car qualified well. They, you know, they thought it was going to be something good for today, and well, they're not running that bad, but he just, you know, you can see the car running right there so smooth, and he's just out in front of them, and they probably are discouraged.
Well, Harry Gant, who won here last fall, is now putting a move on Jeff Bodine, the second place car, and Harry Gant in the Skull Bandit has just taken over second place. Harry Gant is now second to Bill Elliott. Jeff Bodine drops down to third on the racetrack. And Gant may be making his move here late in the race.
Well, I think Jeff may be having a little bit of a problem, too. Harry's running good, but he's smoking his tires bad, and he's, you know, he's setting a pretty good pace. But Jeff is kind of falling off the pace a little bit. He's not the strongest thing out there now. It's not like he was running a while ago.
Well, apparently no problems from Bill Elliott as we see Kyle Petty, who has now gone past Jeff Bodine as Bodine continues to slip back. Petty is now running third. Gant remains in second place, and that car number 9, Bill Elliott, is running out front, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to catch him here today.
Going to have to get the gun. Got to shoot his tires off. That's the only way we're going to stop him. I tell you, he's sure strong. They got a long season ahead of them this year, and I'll tell you, they're going to go for that $1 million that they're going to try to win, and they're just I think they're going to have a great time.
Trouble on the Jeff Bodine car. The hood is up, and what a disappointment that has to be. Jeff Bodine ran strong all day long. The hood goes up on the car, and so does a chance for victory for the number 5 Levi Garrett car of Jeff Bodine. And Harry Hyde and Jeff both have to be really disappointed.
Well, anytime you get a lap down and you come back and make it back up, you know, that's a real struggle. And then when something like this happens, but he's been ailing there for just a little bit.
And as we wind down towards the end of this race, Bill Elliott is set to put Kyle Petty a lap down, and if he does, there will be just 2 cars remaining on the lead lap. Just 2 cars left, Harry Gant and Bill Elliott. But Kyle Petty is hanging on there. Now let's go down to the pits and find out what is wrong with that Jeff Bodine car. Here's Harry Hyde with our own Mark Garrow.
Harry Hyde, Jeff Bodine battle back from a lap down to get back with the leaders. Another problem is taking him out of the race. What did it this time?
Alternator bolt is broken. It goes into the cylinder head. And the belt wouldn't pull the alternator, and the battery went dead. So we had to put a new battery in to get him to finish.
Is it more frustrating given the fact you had battled back so strongly to get back on the lead lap?
Oh yeah, you know, he's upset and broken-hearted, but he's big enough to handle those things. That's racing, and we just have to live with it. We'll just be back stronger next time.
Disappointing day for Jeff Bodine, and now with just a couple laps remaining, Bill Elliott has moved into a lap all himself as he has just put Harry Gant a lap down. And Bill Elliott, if he can just hold that car together, will have himself a nice ride around the racetrack just a couple more times, and he will be in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I tell you, they've got it all wrapped up. Next time by, he'll get the white flag, And I guess Travis was right. There's just no way to catch him now.
Not on this day, and what a season it has been for the entire Elliott crew. They say this is reminiscent of the Petties of the 60s and early 70s. And can you see some resemblance in the family operations as he takes the white flag and heads on the final lap? The new king of NASCAR, they're calling him, Bill Elliott.
Well, it sure is. And you know, teams have dominated before. Junior Johnson's done it in years. The Petty family did it for years, and now Elliott and them's doing it. And I don't personally think they ought to restrict that car. I think they ought to let him go ahead and go. We're looking at racing. They call it racing, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing it by the rules.
And he's doing it better than anybody else as he heads down the front straightaway. Elliott to take the checkered flag, and Elliott has won the Budweiser 500 here in Dover, Delaware. Bill Elliott continues his domination on the super speedways as you see the joy in the Elliott pits. He comes in and heads towards victory lane, a way he knows pretty well by now. He's been there several times this season already. Car number 9, Bill Elliott, the winner today. Harry Gant finished second. We'll talk with Bill Elliott, the winner, when we return. Incredible performance by Bill Elliott, finishing in a lap all to his own. And as we take a look now at the final standings of this race, just want to say, Dick Brooks, it's been a real pleasure working with you today.
Well, Mike, it's been a real pleasure working with you. You've got, it's amazing all the knowledge you've got of the sport. And with Meslu, I'm proud to be here.
Let's go down now to victory lane. Mark Garrows with Bill Elliott.
A hot, weary, but happy Bill Elliott in victory lane at the Budweiser 500. Bill, was it as easy as it looked?
And I'll tell you what, I worked with the car all day long, and I kept working things out, and I'd like to thank the good Lord for helping me out, because the last 40 laps of power steering went out, and I was having a heck of a time hanging on. It was all I could do just to steer the car, but I guess when you lead in a race, you do what you got to do. You know, and I'll tell you what, without Coors and without Harry Melling as a sponsor, you know, I couldn't be here today.
When you were working on these cars over the winter months, did you have any idea that this Ford would be as dominant, winning 5 out of the first 10 races on the NASCAR Winston Cup Series?
No way. I couldn't believe it. You know, Jeff, I got to give him credit. He ran good there a lot of the day, and I know one time or several times I couldn't do nothing with him. So, you know, I felt like he would have been a contender, and I felt like Harry would have been a contender if he hadn't got caught back there the last caution.
We want to thank our Mislu crew for a great job covering today's race. For Mark Garrow and Dick Brooks, I'm Mike Hogwood. So long from Dover.
From Dover, Delaware, this has been the 1985 Budweiser 500 featuring NASCAR Grand National drivers. This program was brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By the makers of Fram oil filters and Fram Extra Life air filters. And by Skull Bandits, tobacco in a neat little pouch. It's a little pouch of tobacco pleasure.